All praise to the Most High, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Shabbat Shalom. It's your boy Yashar, back at it again with the young prophet Enoch. And today's topic will be Feast of Pentecost. Right? This is the Feast of Pentecost. All right, cool. So let's start off with Acts 2 and 1.
This is the book of Acts, chapter 2 and verse 1. And when the day of Pentecost was fully come, they were all with one accord in one place.
Right. So the Feast of Pentecost. Feast of Pentecost. Pentecost means 50. Right? It means 50. Can you go down to where it says dictionary at the bottom? All the way at the bottom? Can you scroll you can't grab it? Like what about grab like the blue piece and separate them? No?
The blue piece?
Can I go to window? Go to window up on top and then put click on it.
I did.
Nothing drops down?
Oh yeah, no, you can't see it. Come here.
Put the dictionary.
Oh, I got you.
All right, never mind. Just go back. I wanted to show the people that, because in that app there's right there. Go to Smith. You see Smith?
Where on my screen?
On your screen.
Yeah, point.
Right there, Smith. See strong and then Smith? Yeah, click on that. All right, never mind. Just go back to the Bible. You got your windows set up a little weird. Just go back to Acts 2 and 1.
How?
Go to window. There you go. Go to Bible. Yeah, right there. There you go. All right, cool. Let's just try this again. I wanted to go back to Acts 2 and 1 because I wanted to show actually wanted to show how in Acts 2 and 1, Shabbat Shalom, King. I wanted to show in Acts 2 and 1 where it says Pentecost, they actually give you the definition, and the definition is 50. All right. So why 50? Let's go to Leviticus 23 and 15. So I'm going to show you that Pentecost is actually the law. Pentecost is actually Feast of Weeks. That's what it's called, Feast of Weeks. See that? Feast of Weeks, Leviticus 23 and verse 15. Go ahead and read it.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 23 and verse 15. And ye shall count unto you from the morrow after the Sabbath, from the day that ye brought the sheaf of the wave offering. 7 Sabbaths shall be complete.
7 Sabbaths, that's 49 days, right? Read the next verse.
Verse 16. Even unto the morrow after the 7th Sabbath shall ye number 50 days. And ye shall offer a new meat offering unto the Lord.
Right. So 50 days after the Sabbath, this is Feast of Weeks. This is right after Passover, right? Now, I want to show y'all something. Watch this. I want to show y'all something. Because I did a class about this before called First Fruits versus Feast of Weeks, because a lot of people, they say that First Fruits is Pentecost, but it's not. First Fruits is First Fruits, and Feast of Weeks is Pentecost. So this is Leviticus 23 out of the ESV, right? And you can see in Leviticus 23 how it's separated, right? And you can see the separation. Hold on, let me make sure that you can see. All right. So you can see how it separates it from you got the Passover, then you got First Fruits, and then you have Feast of Weeks. Right? So First Fruits is not Feast of Weeks. So First Fruits is not Pentecost. And a lot of brothers, they're celebrating it, calling it First Fruits. But it's actually Feast of Weeks. The difference is that First Fruits is right after Passover, and it's the barley harvest. It's the barley harvest. The Feast of Weeks is not the barley harvest. This is the wheat harvest. So Pentecost is the wheat harvest. And that's what makes this so important. That's what makes this topic right here that we're going to talk about so important. Understanding that Pentecost, the Feast of Weeks, is actually the wheat harvest. That's very important. All right. So let me stop sharing this. Hold on. So let me bring back the. All right, here we go. So let's go back to Acts 2:1. We're gonna read it all over again.
This is the book of Acts, chapter 2 and verse 1. And when the day of Pentecost was fully come, they were all with one accord in one place.
Right, because Pentecost is the law. You have to keep Pentecost, right? Let's go to Leviticus 23:15.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 23 and verse 15.
So the Feast of Weeks is found in the law, right? Go ahead. That's Pentecost.
And ye shall count unto you from the morrow after the Sabbath, from the day that ye brought the sheaf of the wave offering. 7 Sabbaths shall be complete.
Read on.
Verse 16. Even unto the morrow after the 7th Sabbath shall ye number 50 days, and ye shall offer a new meat offering unto the Lord.
So now remember how I said this is the wheat. This is the wheat offering. Let's go to Exodus 34 and 22.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 34 and 22. And thou shalt observe the Feast of Weeks.
And thou shalt observe the Feast of Weeks. This is law to observe Pentecost. It's law, right? Go ahead.
Of the first fruits of wheat harvest.
Of what?
Of wheat harvest.
So see, this is the wheat harvest, not the barley, the wheat. The barley is that's Passover. That's when that's how we know to keep Passover, when the barley is ripe and then it gets harvested right after Passover. This is 50 days after Passover, and it's the wheat harvest. Read on.
And the feast of ingathering at the year's end.
All right. Let's go to Deuteronomy 16 and 16 to show that it's law also.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 16 and verse 16. 3 times in a year shall all thy males appear before the Lord thy God in the place which he shall choose, in the feast of unleavened bread, and in the feast of weeks, and in the feast of tabernacles, and they shall not appear before the Lord empty.
You see that? So Pentecost, which is Feast of Weeks, is law, right? That you have to keep. Let's go to Leviticus 23. And we're gonna go to we're gonna start at 21.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 23 and verse 21. And ye shall proclaim on the self same day that it may be an holy convocation unto you. Ye shall do no servile work therein. It shall be a statute forever in all your dwellings throughout your generations.
Read on.
Verse 22. And when ye reap the harvest of your land, thou shalt not make clean riddance of the corners of thy field when thou reapest, neither shalt thou gather any gleaning of thy harvest. Thou shalt leave them unto the poor and to the stranger. I am the Lord your God.
So that's the Feast of Weeks right there, right? Explaining the Feast of Weeks. It's just crazy. I just wanted to put it out real quick. A lot of y'all hate the law, bro. A lot of y'all hate the law. I see a lot of people dipping and diving. As soon as I start mentioning the law, people just break out. That's crazy. That's all right. The Most High hates you too. Let's go to Zephaniah 2 and 1. Because remember, let's go back to Acts real quick. Go to Acts 2. And read verse 1, and then I want you to read verse 5.
This is the book of Acts, chapter 2 and verse 1. And when the day of Pentecost was fully come, they were all with one accord in one place.
Read verse 5.
Verse 5. And there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men out of every nation under heaven.
So understand that this is the Feast of Pentecost, meaning the Feast of Weeks. And then what happens in the Feast of Weeks is a gathering. It's a harvest, right? So this is the same thing that's being happened in Acts 2. It's basically the harvest, the gathering, right? Because that's what you do at a harvest. You gather. So Acts 2 and 5 is showing you how they gathered. And now let's go to Zephaniah 2 and 1. Because I want to show how this whole gathering is the Feast of Weeks pretty much is a foreshadow, right? So Zephaniah 2 and 1.
This is the book of Zephaniah, chapter 2 and verse 1. Gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation not desired.
You see? So this is a gathering where we're told to gather. It was the Feast of all the high holy days is a foreshadow of end times, right? The gathering, the harvest. Especially that wheat harvest, like I harped on in the beginning. Let's go to Joel 2:15.
This is the book of Joel, chapter 2 and verse 15. Blow the trumpet in Zion, sanctify a fast, call a solemn assembly.
A solemn assembly. That's a gathering. That's a gathering. Read on.
Verse 16. Gather the people, sanctify the congregation.
Gather the people, right? Go ahead.
Assemble the elders, gather the children, and those that suck the breast. Let the bridegroom go forth of his chamber, and the bride out of her closet.
That bridegroom and the bride, right? Representing Christ and Israel. This is again, the whole gathering, the harvest, all that is a foreshadow, right? Let's go back to Acts 2, verse 1.
This is the book of Acts, chapter 2 and verse 1. And when the day of Pentecost was fully come, they were all with one accord in one place.
Right, they were all with one accord in one place. That's a gathering, right? Let's go back to Joel, and let's pick up at 2:17.
This is the book of Joel, chapter 2 and verse 17. Let the priest, the ministers of the Lord, weep between the porch and the altar, and let them say, Spare thy people, O Lord, and give not thine heritage to reproach, that the heathen should rule over them. Wherefore should they say among the people, Where is their God?
So you see that in this gathering, they prayed to the Most High, right, for protection and everything. Read on. Verse 18.
Verse 18. Then will the Lord be jealous for his land and pity his people.
Read on.
Verse 19. Yea, the Lord will answer and say unto his people, Behold, I will send you corn and wine and oil, and ye shall be satisfied therewith. And I will no more make you a reproach among the heathen.
Right. So this is redemption. This is the gathering is for redemption. Okay, let's go to. Remember, it says, and I will pity his verse 18. And pity his people, right? So let's see who his people is, because a lot of people will say, well, in the New Testament is everybody. Well, let's go to the New Testament, Matthew 2 and 6. So we're going to go to the New Testament and we're going to see who his people are. Read it.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 2 and verse 6. And thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, art not the least of the princes of Judah. For out of thee shall come a governor that shall rule my people Israel.
My people who?
Israel.
So his people is Israel, right? Even in the New Testament, it doesn't go nowhere. It's always going to be Israel. Let's go to John 4. And we're going to read verse 31 to 32. Actually, 31 down.
This is the book of John, chapter 4 and verse 31. In the meanwhile, his disciples prayed him, saying, Master, eat. But he said unto them, I have meat to eat that ye know not of. Therefore said the disciples one to another, Hath any man brought him out to eat? Jesus saith unto them, My meat is to do the will of him that sent me, and to finish his work. Say not ye, there are yet 4 months, and then cometh harvest.
Then come what?
Then cometh harvest.
Uh-oh. Read on.
Behold, I say unto you, lift up your eyes, and look on the fields, for they are white already to harvest.
Right, the harvest is ready, right? Read on.
And he that reapeth receiveth wages, and gathereth fruit unto life eternal.
Right. So this is the gathering. This is when the Messiah is speaking about this, he's not talking about literal harvest. He's talking about the people. Gathering the people. It says, and gathereth fruit unto life eternal. That fruit is the people. Read on.
that both he that soweth and he that reapeth may rejoice together.
Right, read on.
And herein is that saying true. One soweth and another reapeth.
Right. So this is the harvest, right? Like I told you earlier, everything is a foreshadow. All these high holy days are a foreshadow of Messiah and his actions. Right? Let's go to Revelations 14 and 13. Because while we need to remember, there's two types of harvest. Remember, is the barley harvest and the wheat harvest, right? So let's read on. Revelations 14 and 13.
This is the book of Revelations, chapter 14 and verse 13. And I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, Write, blessed are the dead which die in the Lord from henceforth. Yea, saith the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors, and their works do follow them.
And their works. They rest from their labors and their works. So these people that are getting gathered, right, that are getting reaped or harvest, they rest from their works. Let's see what their works are. Let's go to James, and we're going to go to James 1:25.
This is the book of James, chapter 1 and verse 25. But whoso looketh into the perfect law of liberty and continueth therein, he being not a forgetful hearer, but a doer of the work.
A doer of the work, right? Not faith only, right? A doer of the work. Because a lot of people, they will say that. Oh, that's why a lot of people, they come in here, they come and they bounce because they hate the law and they don't want to do the law. And so when they start hearing about the law, they get pricked and they bounce, but not understanding that you must do the law in order to get gathered up. And I'm gonna show you. Read on.
But a doer of the work, this man shall be blessed in his deed.
In his deed. Let's go to Luke 13:24. No, a lot of y'all hate Christ too, and y'all hate the word of Christ.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 13 and verse 24.
This is red letter, so this is Christ speaking.
Strive to enter in at the straight gate.
Wait, why strive? I thought it was all about faith. I thought all you have to have is faith. Read that again.
Strive to enter in at the straight gate.
This is Messiah saying strive to enter. Strive. You know what striving is? It's basically struggle. Struggle to get in. You got to fight to get in. Strive, fight. We done?
For many, I say unto you, will seek to enter in and shall not be able.
Because all they want to do is get in by faith only, but they don't want to work. They don't want to put in that work. Let's go to 2nd Esdras 7 and 7, because Luke 13 and 24 says, strive to enter in at the straight gate. So there's a straight gate. It's a narrow gate, right? Read 2nd Ezra 7 and 7.
This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 7 and verse 7. The entrance thereof is narrow.
That's that straight gate. Go ahead.
And is set in a dangerous place to fall, like as if there were a fire on the right hand and on the left a deep water.
Read on.
Verse 8. And one only path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could be but one man go there at once.
Right. So it's a straight path. It's a straight gate, a real narrow straight gate that not everybody going to be able to get into, because they're not going to strive to get into that. It's a metaphor. It's a metaphor, meaning you have to struggle to get in. You got to work. You got to put in that work. But a lot of y'all think that it's just about faith. Let's go to Revelation 14 and 14.
This is the book of Revelations, chapter 14 and verse 14. And I looked, and behold, a white cloud, and upon the cloud one sat like unto the Son of Man, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle.
A sharp sickle. A sharp sickle. A sharp sickle. That is a harvesting tool. It's what you harvest, it's what you reap with, right? Like when you see like the Grim Reaper, or like what I'm showing you right here, that's a sickle, right? Read on.
Verse 15. And another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud, Thrust in thy sickle and reap, For the time is come for thee to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe.
The harvest is ripe. And they're not talking about crops. They're talking about people. Right? They're talking about people. Read on.
Verse 16. And he that sat on the cloud thrust in his sickle on the earth, and the earth was reaped.
And the earth was reaped, right? Meaning he started harvesting the people. Let's go to Jeremiah 51 and 33. 51 and 33. Right. So that's the Messiah. When the Messiah comes, he's coming with that sickle and he's going to reap. He's going to reap the harvest of the people. Right? The harvest of the people.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 51 and verse 33. For thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, the daughter of Babylon is like a threshing floor.
Meaning he's going to go crazy, right? Remember, I'll tell you, there's two types of harvest. You're going to harvest the people, or reap the people rather, and then he's going to also reap the enemies. He's going to basically wipe out the enemies. So there's going to be two types of reaping done. Read on.
It is time to thresh her, yet a little while, and the time of her harvest shall come.
You see, there's going to be two harvests, the harvest of the people and the harvest of the enemy, which is saving the people and killing the enemies. Let's go to Matthew 13:28 to show it, to prove what I'm saying.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 13 and verse 28. He said unto them, an enemy hath done this.
You see that? Read on.
The servants said unto him, will thou then that we go and gather them up?
Right. So they asking, so are we going to gather both? Right. Read on.
Verse 29. But he said, nay, lest while ye gather up the tares, ye root up also the wheat with them.
The who?
The wheat with them.
You see that? The wheat harvest. The tares is what the enemy did, and the wheat are the people, are the Israelites. See that? The two different type of harvests. Okay, read on.
Verse 30. Let both grow together until the harvest. And in the time of harvest, I will say to the reapers, gather ye together first the tares, and bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn.
So remember how I said is two reapings. The harvest is two, right? And it's two reapings. You're gonna reap the children of Israel and then the enemies, and the enemies are gonna be killed. Read that again. Let both
grow together until the harvest. And in the time of harvest, I will say to the reapers, gather ye together first the tares.
The tares are the enemies.
And bind them in bundles to burn them.
And they're going to get destroyed. They're going to get burned and killed. Read on.
But gather the wheat into my barn.
The Israelites
into my barn.
Will go into the barn. You see that? Okay, let's go to back to Revelations 14, and we're going to pick up at verse 17.
This is the book of Revelations, chapter 14 and verse 17. And another angel came out of the temple, which is in heaven, he also having a sharp sickle.
It's time to reap. Read on.
Verse 18. And another angel came out from the altar, which had power over fire, and cried with a loud cry to him that had the sharp sickle, saying, thrust in thy sharp sickle, and gather the clusters of the vine of the earth, for her grapes are fully ripe.
That's it. It's time to reap. Read on.
Verse 19. And the angel thrust in his sickle into the earth, and gathered the vine of the earth, and cast it into the great winepress of the wrath of God.
Read on.
Verse 20. And the winepress was trodden without the city, and blood came out of the winepress.
This is the enemies being destroyed. See, yet when I said it, I'm pretty sure people are gonna be like, "Oh my God, this guy's wicked. He's evil, or he don't know what he's talking about." But everything that I'm saying, I'm backing it up with the scriptures. The enemies will be destroyed in that harvest, in that reaping. Read on.
Even unto the horse bridles, by the space of 1,600 furlongs.
So there's going to be so much blood, it's going to be up to the horse's bridle. Let's go to Isaiah 63 and 1, and we're going to show you who's going to be doing this. Because a lot of y'all in y'all fantasy, bro, y'all really take the Bible as a fantasy book and pick and choose what y'all want to believe, but y'all don't really understand that the Bible is harmony. Everything flows together in harmony. Go ahead and read that.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 63 and verse 1. Who is that cometh from Edom, with dyed garments from Basra? This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save.
This is Jesus Christ. Read on.
Verse 2. Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel, and thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine fat.
Remember, we just read that in Revelation 14, where the blood is gonna be high up to the horse's bridle. Read on.
Verse 3. I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me. For I will tread them in mine anger, and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments,
See that?
and I will stain all my raiment.
That's Christ. Read on.
Verse 4. For the day of vengeance is in mine heart, and the year of my redeemed is come.
There you go, kids. It's gonna be over when the Messiah comes back. And I've always heard like elders and everything always say this. People think that Christ is gonna come back with flowers and candy, and everybody's just gonna be joyful and go up into heaven. No, there's gonna be murder. There's gonna be a lot of people getting killed. All right, let's go. We almost done. Let's go to verse 5, right? 5 and 6.
Verse 5. And I looked, and there was none to help, and I wondered that there was none to uphold. Therefore my own arm brought salvation unto me, and my fury it upheld me.
Read on.
Verse 6. And I will tread down the people in my anger, and make them drunk in my fury, and I will bring down their strength to the earth.
See that? Bodies upon bodies. Let's go to Revelations 19. And we're going to read verse 11 to 15. 11 to 15.
This is the book of Revelations, chapter 19 and verse 11. And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war.
He makes what?
And make war.
So Christ is coming back to make war. All right? Read on.
Verse 12?
Yeah.
Verse 12. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns, and he had a name written that no man knew but he himself.
Read on.
Verse 13. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood.
Dipped in what?
Dipped in blood.
Bodies. Read on.
And his name is called the Word of God.
Read on.
Verse 14. And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean.
You see, and there's going to be an army coming with him. He's going to set it off by himself, but there's going to be an army with him. Right? Read on.
Verse 15. And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron. And he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Almighty God.
You see that? So when that harvest comes, when it comes time to reap the harvest, that's what it's going to look like. Straight up war. So this is why Pentecost is so important, because Pentecost is a representation of that harvesting, of that gathering, right? That's why it's law. You have to keep it. You have to do it. Let me just share this one more time. Let me remove this real quick. All right. So I just wanted to share this again and show y'all one more time before we get out of here the difference, right, between first fruits and Feast of Weeks. All right. So when you hear an Israelite say, "Oh, it's first fruits," no, that Israelite is wrong. It's not first fruits. It's Feast of Weeks. First fruits, it's right after Passover. And also, too, you know the difference because the ordinances for both of them are different. All right? There's a different ordinance for both of them. One is barley, one is wheat. All right? Read up and learn. So with that, I'm going to say shalom. Keep the law. If not, you're going to perish. Shalom.